Hello there, I'm Vinny. I'm interrailing a little bit of Europe. You're about to hear the second of 5 podcasts from Europe. Europe, the continent that gave us great chocolate, olive oil and Benito Mussolini. Sounds like a pasta, definitely not a rasta. Sadder than Franz Kafka, not one for laughter. Never even got a BAFTA because he was executed. Mussolini. Last podcast I was in the tiny country of Liechtenstein. In this podcast I'm in Slovenia. Drinking beer by a lake, looking at dragons, and I'm wondering why Melania Trump ever left. Also, I do question what drugs she takes to cope with her poor life choices. Yep, this time I'm in Slovenia. So you'll find out what is a Slav, what's the main tourist attraction, and do you want some spelunking action? What's the capital of Slovenia, and is it anything like Toronto? Spoiler alert, no, not in the least, but that doesn't stop me comparing them. I'm Vinny, I'm on a quest to get to 100 countries. Travel with me as I discover all this stuff and more in Country 86, Slovenia. Welcome along to Lake Bled in Slovenia. Slovenia, not to be confused with Slovakia. I always feel sorry for them and the whole Slavy thing. But here we are in definitely Slovenia, and I know it's Slovenia because Lake Bled is the biggest tourist attraction here. And at first you might say, why? It's only a lake. Well, it is only a lake, but my God, it's beautiful. Let's tell you a little bit about Slovenia first of all, and then we'll move on to Lake Bled. Slovenia, country that from above looks like a distressed chicken. Have a look at it. Looks like it's squawking. Here I am overlooking a lake next to a road, and it is obscenely beautiful. It's sunny today. It was pissing down like buggery yesterday, if buggery can piss down, and as a result it was a sort of, well, let's be completely honest, drinking day. I started in the afternoon thinking, oh, this rain will finish soon, I'll have a couple of cheeky ones, and then ended up in bed at about 8 o'clock. Feeling, you know, that sort of day drinking thing you do and you've got no idea what time it is, and you look at the clock thinking obviously it's midnight and it's like 7 p.m. It was one of those. So I might sound a little bit rough around the edges, but it's my fault and I shall pay. 2.1 million people live here. That's less people per square kilometre than most European countries. About a quarter of the people per square kilometre than England. If you throw in Scotland and Wales, that number starts moving around a bit, but generally speaking, all you need to know is there's not many people here for a really big land. A land called Slovenia, land of the Slavs. The Slavs. A bit misleading really, because the Slavs, or the Slavic people, are all over this place, as in Slovenia, Slovakia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, and all past former Yugoslavia as well. So it is land of the Slavs. But what are Slavic people? Well, one thing for sure, they're a good-looking bunch, as Melania Trump can testify. Poor old Melania Trump. Ah, what did she get herself into, eh? She's moved herself, and her parents actually. He fast-tracked her parents' visas. She left this fine land and moved to a golden prison in Florida. You can't tell me she's not on drugs, can you? I mean, you just can't. Imagine being married to that man. How could you possibly not be on drugs? She looks like she's on drugs. She acts like she's on drugs. She's high on drugs. I don't know if it's just Valium, but who can blame her? Imagine waking up near that. I say near that because she's obviously not waking up next to that. I don't know what the rules of their contractual agreement is, but I should very much doubt that she has to perform much of the old sexual pleasures with him. Oh my God, I'm talking about Donald Trump having sex. It's really not good for a hangover. Things are feeling very rough down below. But anyway, we do have to just stop and think about Melania Trump for a moment. Okay, she did cause a lot of this herself, but she has to wake up listening to a narcissistic, psychopathic man-baby hell-bent on being right and massaging his own ego before the interests of really anything else. And I mean anything. Poor old Melania Trump. She left this idyllic, beautiful place where she was a model to travel the world. It probably felt like it was all going so well, and then she saw power, got a flavour for it, got her hooks into it, signed some paperwork, and then thought, I'm going to need some heavy drugs. Anyway, God bless her, we'll leave it at that. The Slavic people are good looking. It's not just Melania Trump. They are hot potatoes, men and women. Some good bone structure in the old faces. What about this country, though? Well, we got 30,000 kilometres of rivers and streams. More than half of it is forest. It really is beautiful. And there isn't anywhere that's much more beautiful than the place I am right now. It's called Lake Bled. B-L-E-D. Look it up. It's absolutely gorgeous. Get yourself a lake. Make sure the water is turquoise. All fed from the local Alps. So far, so good. Right, let's pop some forest around it. Lovely. That looks nice. What should we do in the middle? Little island? Cracking. What should we put on that? An old funky church? Medieval looking thing? Beautiful. 99 steps up? Beautiful. Really working now. Now, what can we do on the outskirts? How about a medieval castle overlooking it? Yes, sir, I can boogie. All right, what about a thoughtfully thought out, undeveloped town next to it with a few hotels, but nothing too garish? We'll have a bit of that. What have you got? You've got yourself the biggest tourist attraction here in Slovenia, and a bloody fine one too, it is. So get yourself to Lake Bled. You can get a little rowboat to the middle if you want. They haven't got any, they haven't done the American thing where it's like, hey, why don't we put some jet skis and hovercraft on this thing? It's just far more idyllic. They've really thought about it, and they've banned all engines. So you can row yourself out to the middle, have a little paddle about, dive in. The water's gorgeous, despite the fact that it's fed by the Alps. For some reason, it's really warm. I guess it's been hanging out there for a while, that water. And it's just bloody idyllic. It is absolutely fantastic. And here we are, not that far from Ljubljana. That's the next port of call, the capital, Ljubljana. That's where I'm going next. Translates as the loved one. And about a quarter, or 500,000 people of the population live in Ljubljana. Apparently it's a pretty nice, funky little place, so I'll have a look at that next. But while we're here, let's just take a little bit of time to think about what this place used to be. Because it used to be Yugoslavia. Now, these guys are Slavic, right? That means that they're good bedfellows, mostly, although there's a few political fallouts here and there, with everyone to the east. They're fellow Slavic people in the former Yugoslavia. But they're pretty advanced, and they're a bit more like the Austrians. And I think they aspire to be a bit more Austrian, really. They like, for example, the accordion. They like walking. They like skiing. And they like a lot of the stuff that the mountains provide that isn't available in the rest of former Yugoslavia. Plus, let's be honest, Austria's a pretty funky, developed country. Clean, tidy, looks good. Everyone loves it. Friendly people, nice beer. Why wouldn't you want to be Austria? So Slovenia kind of leans towards its northern neighbour, Austria, although it is part of the former Yugoslavia. They've just had a mad history, right? Think about this. Talk about prone to arseholes. Slovenia is the only modern-day European country that was occupied by both Nazi Germany and fascist Italy. So no wonder when the wall came down and everything, and Yugoslavia became lots of independent republics, no wonder they were pretty keen to be the front of the line. Their internal war and conflict, resoluting who was in charge of this place, was way shorter than everyone else in the neighbourhood, and they managed to sort out Slovenia and push it into the EU and NATO in no time whatsoever. So you've got yourself a great country, a bit like Austria. Here's a big difference: because it's got a low population and it loves wine, there's a winery for every 70 people. One winery for every 70 people. Alrighty then. Now this is turning out to be quite a paradise. Plus, if that's not enough for you, you've got your caves if you like spelunking. Yes, that is a word, and it's not pornographic. You dirty bastard, get your mind out of the gutter. Spelunking is the art of going underwater caving, a sport that is so stupid. I think I would actually, and I'm not even joking, I think I'd rather enter the Isle of Man TT and risk my life doing 200 miles an hour on a motorbike than I would spelunk. Who wants to spelunk? If those boys in Thailand taught us anything, it's we've got no place in those caves. No place whatsoever. But anyway, that's their thing. If you like caves, this is the place for it. There's I think there's thousands of miles of caves underneath Slovenia. So if that's your thing, you'll bloody love it. And if all that's not enough, and frankly that doesn't tickle my nipples, then you can get honey. Honey, yes, the bees. Knees. Well, the bees. I don't know why I said knees. Although bees, do they have knees? And if they don't have knees, why do we always go on about it? And why are they a good thing anyway, the bees' knees? I mean, you don't say the giraffe's ankles. You don't say the dog's bollocks. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Forget that. Beekeeping, that's a thing, a big thing here. They have a very healthy bee population, unlike the rest of the world, which is in quite bad decline. Think of the bees, be nice to the bees and their knees. So Slovenia is absolutely brilliant so far. I think it's actually one of my favourite countries in Europe from my very brief look at it so far. Now, it's summer, it's absolutely gorgeous. This lake is idiotically beautiful, chocolate box styly, so there's not much that you couldn't like. But the prices are good. I should mention that as well. It's really dependent where you are, but I paid as little as €2 for a glass of wine and as much as 8. So, and that's pretty much for the same wine. So there's a big variety. Yes, sirree. I do like it when the purse strings are pulled in. All right, let's get myself to Ljubljana on a train. Interrailing's brilliant. If you've got this pass, you just pick up your phone, press a few little buttons. Next thing you know, you don't even have to print anything or worry about anything. The ticket appears in the app. Sometimes there's a little reservation fee, but basically, if you're interrailing, it's all free once you've paid for that ticket. We'll talk more about that a little bit later, I think. But for now, I'm off to Ljubljana. Well, they're even polite drivers. He's letting me go. Go, okay. Bit awkward. No, you go. 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 I can't cope with that amount of politeness. It's not in my bones. Right, I'm off to Ljubljana. Speak to you soon.
You can just go straight till the end of this street. You'll come to Dunajska and then just here is it.
Got myself an Airbnb in Ljubljana.
On the corner.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, and it is really nice one.
Do you like dumplings?
Yes.
Is that what Slovenians eat? No?
No, this is Asians, some kind of.
Oh,
yeah,
Asian dumplings.
Yeah. Anywhere else, but
What-
yeah, that one is very nice.
What is Slovenian food? What do you eat?
Yeah, it is quite hard to say what is really typical Slovenia because it is mix of everything.
Oh.
We have a lot of meat.
Okay, sausages.
Yeah, sausages, krajinska sausage, prekmurska gibanica. It is sweet thing.
Oh.
It is Slovenian gibanica.
Okay. So
Yeah.
lots of meat, lots of
Chicken-
potatoes.
Yes.
Lots of
yes.
sausages.
Yes.
Wow. How come everyone looks so good?
Because I think we cycling quite a lot.
I see.
Yeah. Also a lot of pastas, and then we also have a lot of things on the soup. For example, mushroom soup is very famous. They serve it in a bread bowl.
Oh,
Yeah, it is very nice.
okay.
And also this goulash.
Oh yeah, I like
Yes,
goulash.
but goulash is Slovenian, but otherwise, it is also from Hungary, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is also ours.
Okay.
So, yeah. So we really.
So you've got everything. You've got the
and
pasta
the
thing
same-
from
yes,
Italy. You've
yes,
got the
yes,
goulash.
yes,
Everything
yes,
from everywhere.
Yes. And also, for example, the sausages. Yeah, it is typical. This krajinska sausage is from here, but also in Austria you have a lot of sausages, for example, and also in Germany. So
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Okay, you're making me hungry.
So just so just go there and check. Otherwise the food is very delicious. So today is a food day.
Exactly.
Enjoy your stay, have fun.
Take
If
care.
you need anything, you have my telephone number. You can also text me.
Ljubljana, how I love ya. You're a capital city and it's a pity people don't know about ya. People don't know about ya. I need some work. Let's see how many listeners I can lose in a short period of time. Slovenia, you're beautiful and nowhere's quite like you. Right to the south of the Alps you'll find Ljubljana. It's the capital where a quarter of people live, and its icon is a dragon. That didn't work at all, did it? But it is true. The icon. Let's just move on as quick as we can. The icon for Ljubljana is a dragon. You'll find it on the famous Dragon Bridge, with great metalwork, great metal dragons on it. The bridge itself is actually quite new, really. It's only 1901, which for all you history lovers is not that it's entirely relevant, but it's a date that sticks in my mind because it is, of course, when frumpy Queen Victoria popped her clogs, 1901. The city itself, Ljubljana, dates back about 1,000 years. Still, again, not particularly old for Europe, but its first mentions in history books is about 1,000 years ago. I should tell you where I am, really. I'm in a park outside a theatre. I just popped in the theatre to use the loo. Tonight I believe there's a jazz festival here. If you fancy some jazz, then this is the place to be. But at the moment it's just a coffee shop in a very large building. And I had a cheeky little cappuccino, and now I'm out hiding from the 30-degree sunshine under a tree. There are times when I travel that feel like, to use a modern term in the internet world, feels like I've hacked life. I can only speak to where I am sort of from, London, and recently I was there and it was raining and I paid £4 for a coffee and it wasn't particularly good. And I just thought, God, there must be more to life than this. There must be places you can go where everything's nicer and it's cheaper. And I'm here to tell you, during these podcasts, there fucking is. There just is. I just had a cappuccino. It was less than €2, and here I am, having just left my lovely, comfy seat, walked across the park, and collapsed under a tree to tell you that things are fucking great outside the UK. So, you know, Brexit's been a real success. Anyway, let's not even get into that. But I would like to. I'd like to do something. It's a little controversial, perhaps. I'd like to massively diss a place, not London actually, to describe Ljubljana, and that's what I'm about to do now. So Ljubljana is the capital of Slovenia, as I said in my coherent and, let's be honest, wonderfully structured song. And here I am, but what's it all about? Right, well, I want to use Toronto, of all places, to describe Ljubljana. Okay. Bit of a weird one because they're very different, but that's kind of why I'm doing it. Ljubljana has a river running through it, right? It actually has essentially two. One's a sort of hand-dug canal to get supplies in and out in the olden days, and the other one is the original river, but they're both really beautiful. And today I did a lovely river cruise where I paid €14, a bit more than you would expect for this part of the world, but sat on a boat, drank a beer and slowly went down the river with some jazz music playing in the background. I mean, I don't know what the point in life is, but if that's not at least part of the point of life, then I want my money back. So cruised down the river, absolutely great, sun shining, history just draped around the place. Beautiful weeping willow trees dangling into the river, and beyond that, obscure gargoyles and previously mentioned dragons inscribed into the buildings with cherubs and beautiful old stained glass church windows. So just unbelievably Europe, right? It's really quite quintessentially European. It's certainly not the biggest town. I wouldn't imagine it's by anywhere near the most beautiful town in Europe, but it really is quite a good example of how in a very concentrated small space along a river you can get pristine architecture and of course all the modern day stuff that goes with it. Endless restaurants serving all the Slovenian food you can imagine, and indeed, being that this is a place of lots of different foods coming together, you can get everything from pizza to Chinese dumplings. Anything you want, it all happens here. So that's all very good. So what about this Toronto reference? Right, well, here's my Toronto reference. Toronto is one of the best examples of getting everything completely and utterly wrong that I've ever been to or had the misfortune to live in my life. Now, it's not to say Toronto's all bad. There are some really cool parts, and it's got a bit of character and grit here and there. But if we just compare apples to tangerines on this one, Toronto is possibly the best example of how to completely and utterly fuck up a waterfront there is. I haven't been to that many places. I've been to 86, I think we're on now, 86 countries. Yeah, this was 86, Slovenia. And I haven't been to that many towns, particularly in the US and the New World. So it's a little bit unfair for me, but I'm just going to do it anyway, because fuck it. It makes a good podcast, and let's be honest about it. Toronto is an absolute abomination of what to do with a waterfront. If you haven't been to Toronto, let me describe it to you. Get yourself a waterfront, far bigger than Ljubljana's river, a lakefront indeed. Fresh water, just like the river of Ljubljana. Now, imagine you've got a blank canvas to draw on. What are you going to do? Are you going to build a massive highway, elevated, in concrete, along the waterfront? Are you going to do that? Of course you are, absolutely. Let's get that puppy up there. Let's get 3 or 4 lanes on each side. Let's elevate that thing. Let's make sure that it's falling down and is crumbling and the rust drips down. It also blocks off the sunlight. Also is a hotspot for violent gangs previously, because of course underneath the highway that's the sort of stuff that tends to go on. That's what you've started with, Toronto. Well done, brilliant. Okay, what else can we do? Well, let's have somewhere called Lakeshore Boulevard. Boulevard? What, a place I can walk my dog, a beautiful boulevard that I can roll along and sit down and enjoy a nice cold beer in the sunshine? No. An 8-lane highway that's called Lakeshore Boulevard, which would give the illusion of it being a nice place that you could walk, but if you were to try and walk there, you would be struck by a vehicle within minutes. That's nice. Lakeshore Boulevard, by the way, is right next to the previously mentioned highway, the elevated highway, otherwise known as the Gardner Expressway. So you've got your elevated highway, Gardner Expressway, 4 or 5, 6 lanes, whatever it is. Lovely. That's elevated, disgusting, and just generally awful. Next to that, we're going to put Lakeshore Boulevard, so we'll have another 8 lanes, shall we? Yeah, why not? At its maximum, let's have another 8 lanes of traffic. And also, obviously, but no human could possibly cross that, so we'll have to build very occasional pedestrian bridges. And now, what have you got? Yes, you've cut off your lakeshore to everyone. Well done. Okay, anything else we can do to fuck it up? Of course we can. Absolutely. Let's build a load of skyscrapers. Brilliant. Okay, cool. You want to build them back a bit, though, don't you? So people can walk? Nah, fuck them. Don't worry about it. Just build those things up as high as you can, sell off all the land to developers, and make sure they're all exactly the same. Glass boxes. Do you want some that are like the shape of the gherkin and the shard to make it interesting? Nah, fuck them. Just big old glass boxes will do. And if you do attempt to walk along what is left of the lakeshore, you'll have to go in and out around all the buildings. Cool. Anything else we can do to fuck it up? I don't know. A sugar factory? Sure, why not? Will it take up about 1 kilometre square? Yeah. Will it be pristine land that could be used for cafes, shops and restaurants that people could enjoy and families could hang out and play with their kids? Yeah, fuck it. Let's put a sugar factory there that smells of treacle. I have to say the smell of treacle isn't that bad, but, you know, still not ideal. Great. Anything else you want to do? Yeah, we'll set up something called Sugar Beach. What on earth is that? It's a beach around the corner from the sugar factory. I guess we're going to spend loads of money making it look cool. Yeah, just put some sand, but put it down on concrete. Make sure it's cut off, quite hard to get to, really small, and pay somewhere in the region of, I can't remember what it was, $500,000 or something for some concrete umbrellas to stand up all the way through the year. Concrete umbrellas? Yeah, concrete, because we'll have them blow away otherwise. Yeah, but concrete umbrellas are going to look really ugly and like something from the 60s. Yeah, I know. Do it anyway. Fuck them. Okay, cool. So you've got a massive highway next to a massive highway with a sugar factory and a beach that you poured sand on over concrete and made some concrete umbrellas. Anything else? Nah, that'll do. Okay, cool. Right, why are you bringing this up? Because the opposite of that is Ljubljana. The fucking opposite of that. Lovely restaurants and bars just dotted around the waterfront, surrounded by beautiful architecture. It's not hard. Anyway, that's my opinion of Ljubljana. Just looking around this field that I'm in now, thinking about how lucky I am. I do feel a bit like I've hacked life. I feel like sometimes when I'm in these places, I'm so extraordinarily lucky and honoured. It's to be living in a world where we can visit these places. And the beauty, the irony perhaps, is that they're nearly always cheaper. If you did go to Sugar Beach and you did manage to find a bar that sold a beer outside, you can't drink outside, that's illegal unless you've got a licence, don't bring your own, you'll get a ticket. Jesus, I definitely spent too long living in Toronto. But if you do go there, you'll pay more for a coffee than you would here. So anyway, come to Slovenia, come to Ljubljana, and since it's a slightly more expensive city to fly into because it's got a low population and it isn't a hub by any means, why not use it as an excuse to fly into, I don't know, Italy, and then get the train over here? It's only next door. In fact, speaking of that, I'm going to Italy tonight. Better get my arse up soon, actually. I was going to get my hair cut, but I feel like I've enjoyed this rant so much, it's taken it out of me. Might just lie here and cool down from my borderline obnoxious soapbox. Right. Okay. I've got to get the train to Italy soon, though. Right, Slovenia, you've been lovely. Your mountains to the north are gorgeous. Your city, small but beautiful. And the rest of it, which I haven't explored, let's be honest, more than 50% of it is forest. I can only assume you're absolutely wonderful. The previously mentioned river that runs through Ljubljana has 7 names, and the reason is that there are 7 sections of the river that are above ground before it goes underground again. And every time someone found a new section, they gave it a new name. So I won't go through all 7 names of the river, but I would very much suggest when you do come here, you focus your time around the river that runs through the beautiful Ljubljana, Slovakia. That was a good rant. Sorry, Toronto. You've got a nice museum. I love the junction area. Roncesvalles is it's not about Toronto. Forget it. Okay, there you go. Run over. Thanks for joining me in Slovenia this time. My name is Vinny and I'm on a quest to get to 100 countries. That was Slovenia, country 86. Next up, country 87. I get into Italy, but I've been to Italy, so I can't count that. So country 87 is within Italy. It's a small landlocked country. It's the least visited country in Europe, and it's San Marino. That is coming up in your feed next. Ciao, ciao. A cheerful Slovenian pop tune there that translates as, "This world cannot live." Bleak. This was mixed and produced in the UK by WeMakePodcasts.uk.